All right, welcome back to Football with Ben Roethlisberger. I am Ben Roethlisberger, joined here with my man Spence, and we are joined with two very special guests. Not just one, two special guests.
We couldn't do just one.
No, we couldn't.
That'd be rude.
And I think this is the first time we ever had two guests.
Yeah,
is that true?
Yeah. Bart barged into
Walker's
episode.
So we had Walker Hayes on, and Bart Miller crashed in, and just because he wanted to do another episode. But anyway, there's this like suspense that I normally do. Like he's not going to show who it is yet, and so I act like it's suspenseful, but really, since it's not live, people get to see who it is, so it's not really that fun. But people still like the
Your
suspense.
names are in the caption, and your faces are on the thumbnail right now. So they definitely know.
But the suspense build up is spectacular.
It's building right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I do need to preface these two guests with I hate Ohio State, and everybody that watches the show knows I hate Ohio State.
Yes.
The only reason I'm allowing these two guys on my show is because they're not Buckeyes anymore.
No, they're Steelers.
I know they think that they're always once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye, the Ohio State, like all that crap that we're going to get over with right now. By the way, Jason and Brian are going nuts right now.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, those are my two buddies from Finland.
Yeah.
Nuts.
There you go.
Anyway, without further ado, the two of the newest Steelers 2025 draft class,
Right.
from Ohio State. I'm not going to say I'm from Ohio State University Buckeyes.
Yeah.
The quarterback,
Yeah.
Will Howard,
That's right.
Good to be
and
here, man.
the outside linebacking, tackling, fumble making, touchdown making machine, Jack Sawyer.
Thanks for having me on.
All
Happy
right.
to be here.
All right, now that's a good episode.
Hey, look at those Steelers right there.
Look at that, three
look.
Steelers.
Come on now.
You know what this is? I mean, we're going to get into this though, Spence, but those three guys right there,
Yeah.
this could be a quarterback episode.
Oh, is that right?
I think all three of those guys played quarterback.
We did.
Damn right.
We did.
Damn right.
Didn't know I knew that,
I
huh?
was just to mess with Will and be like, hey, if you need help throwing that deep ball,
Brother.
come down the D line.
Every Thursday practice, your ass would come over and throw the freaking deep ball
The
when we
deep
were warming
balls.
up.
See,
Hey,
no quarterbacks.
We might need that.
You never know. You never know. No, welcome, guys. Thank you for coming over. Relatively short notice, too. I appreciate you guys being here. Are you guys excited to be Steelers? Be honest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you saw it in the rookie episode I did. Man, I was begging for the Steelers to pick
Really?
me. Like, I thought it was, there was a couple when you're going through the draft process, that especially as a quarterback, I'm sure you know, like, you know that there's only a couple of teams that are most likely going to pick you, and there's probably a group of like 10. But there was something deep inside me that just really, really wanted to be a Steeler.
Really? Are you
Pennsylvania? No, I'm
But you're from Philly.
I'm from Philly. But like that's the thing. People think that there's a rivalry really between the Steelers and the Eagles. There really isn't.
Yeah,
Like, the
no.
Eagles fans, all of my friends were like, just don't go to the Cowboys, don't go to the Giants, don't go
NFC
to the,
stuff, yeah.
the NFC East. But I'm just happy to be in my home state. I'm close to Columbus, close to my family. My girlfriend went to Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, Red
Just
Hawks.
Like you, come on.
That's part of this whole group here.
So we're staying close to home, and it's just like everyone in the organization was. I met with them at the combine. I met with them before pro day, and there was something about it that just stuck with me, and I really wanted to be a part of it.
Which is funny too, because Jack, you're actually from closer to Pittsburgh than you are.
That's right.
You're from Ohio. And you're
Yep.
from Columbus.
Yeah. Yep.
And on your draft thing too, somebody said that's where we're hoping to go. Now, whether they were telling the truth or not,
Yeah.
who did you grow up like? Who was your team?
That was my dad that said that.
Was it?
Kind
Okay.
of the same situation. I wanted to go somewhere that's got, some good vets in the room, and who better to learn from than TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, and
Yeah.
James Harrison's always around the facility, I heard too. So playing in that, that defense and being, in this culture and environment, it's definitely a place where I wanted to be. And it worked out. God's plan's always great. Ended up falling right to him, and couldn't be more happier and excited for it. And like you said, though, only 2.5 hours away. I'm closer than 2.5 hours closer than Will is.
State guy.
And he's from the state. So
Still go home and get your laundry done.
yeah, exactly. Go home on the weekends, have mom, cook meals and all that good stuff, rookie year. But no, I'm excited about
Is
it.
that going to be weird though? Because you grew up in Columbus,
Right.
Pretty much, and you went to school there. So
Yeah.
now this is like the first time you're actually like going away from home.
Yeah.
Are your parents like the type that are going to like let you go, or are they going to move over here too?
Yeah, they're gonna let me go, but I bet my dad's gonna be down here every weekend probably.
He just said it when he left.
He was leaving. Like, yeah, I'll be down. I mean, if you don't mind, I'll come down here this weekend, play some golf with you, hang out.
There you
I'm like,
go.
hey, you can stay.
I could be on Ben's show with you. I do something.
Yeah, he might
right.
come down the steps any minute. But no, yeah, it's gonna be fun being only 2.5 hours away from home.
Yeah,
and
that'd be
you
cool.
asked me about growing up. who we root for. We didn't really have an NFL team. Growing up in Columbus, it's kind of scattered. A lot of Pittsburgh fans too,
Yeah.
which is nice. My best friend growing up and his family, the biggest Steelers fans you ever meet. So if anything, I know it's cliche to say now that I got drafted by the Steelers, but I probably rooted for the Steelers more than anybody. You know what I mean? So happened to work out great.
Well, even if it didn't, you say that fans would love you even more. I mean, you're pro tip. Well, I'm going to tell you this, and I learned this a long time ago, and it's okay if you can accept this, that this community loves its defense and its running backs. Just let those things happen.
Absolutely.
And you can play for 18 years and still be loved. So it's all good.
Hey, I love them just as much as they do.
I know, right? I know. Well, listen, what we're going to do, we're going to dive into a little bit where you guys are from. And we talked about being a quarterback. It'd be fun to talk about a little bit. And kind of growing up and playing ball and what your families were like. But we always start this episode off, or early on, we try and do some beers, okay? As we talk about, we have the 5 F's: faith, family, football, food, and beer.
That's right.
For beer.
Okay, so we're gonna pass over a couple bears. I want to give a special shout out before Spence tells us what this is, to Charlie Vaughn, all the boys down at the lake at Oconee. They always, every time I go down there, they always have some cool beers for us. So that's what we got this week. So thanks, Charlie.
Looking out.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah. Might be a producer on the show at this point. You know what I mean? This is from Dogfish Head. It's called Squelch Ale. It's an ale with lime. This uniquely refreshing wheat beer is brewed with lime juice, lime peel.
You love wheat beer.
I don't love wheat beer, but that's for you.
I'm a wheat beer guy.
Black limes. That's a thing I found out just now.
Whoa.
Sea salt. I knew about that one. And it's utterly refreshing and bursting with tart citrus. All right, boys. So we do this kind of like a wine tasting. Are you
We're
familiar?
sophisticated down here.
We have no idea what we're doing.
Wine tasting the beer.
Yeah, exactly. So, see, he's got a hole. He aerates it.
Oh.
Aerating a carbonated drink.
That was interesting.
Was it?
It's very
4.9% is what we're dealing with here. Squelch ale. And give your honest reaction. We have
people that watch
No,
this
yeah.
from craft beers. We don't really know what we're doing. We just tell if we like it or not.
the internet definitely
no
lets
beer
us know
connoisseur, but-
that we're wrong.
It doesn't taste like a wheat.
No?
You
doesn't
actually
at all.
this.
Really?
Tastes like a lime. Like it tastes like almost like I almost called it like a Corona with a lime, but it's got a little.
Little
I'll
beach,
help
boat
more if
day.
you want more. Have as much as you want.
Little boat day.
Kinda
It is
tastes
nice.
like a
That's a lake. That's a good lake beer.
Kind of tastes like, you guys ever had Elvis juice?
Yes.
Kind of tastes a little bit like that.
Dude, so Columbus, what's up? Raise up. We went there. We went there they have a beer hotel in Columbus.
Did you? The brewery out there in Canal?
Yeah, dude. They
In
have
Canal
a-
Winchester, right?
No, what's it
no,
called?
in Columbus.
I know what's it called though. It's got a brew. It's
Brewdog.
Brewdog.
You went to Brewdog,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, Elvis juice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Elvis.
dog, I know what's up.
I forgot.
I'm going to be honest with you, until I forgot the name of the brewery that entire time I was talking and just popped in at the last minute. And
I
saved
like
me.
that.
But that's good.
Thanks, Charlie. That's good.
That is good.
That is
I
good.
like
All
it.
right. You like it?
It's good. Yeah, I'll give that. I'll give that a. It's a good 7.
Come on, man.
7.
Come on, man.
It's a 7.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Solid.
All right, so we learned you're from the Philly area.
Yep.
Grew up playing sports. What sports did you play growing up? Like what was your go-to?
My first sport really was baseball. I was a big baseball
Pitcher?
player. Pitcher,
First base,
shortstop.
Yeah,
That
sounds
was
like
my
me.
thing. And I played some basketball growing up as well. It was really baseball, basketball, football, and then I started playing some lacrosse. It's big in the Philly area. My uncle is from Baltimore, so I started playing a little bit of that. Even swam a little bit in the off seasons.
Okay.
Swimmer.
In the it was like for my country club that we would
Right.
Hey, man,
pool that we
you don't
would
have to
go to,
justify
man.
it.
you don't have to
good.
justify
It's all good.
it.
You're a swimmer.
Speedo for the country club.
It was damn fun. Man.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
A little swimming too. Now we'll see. I was going to ask the question too. Tell us something that nobody's going to know. I was going to have you tell me something about him that nobody would know. I think you being a country club swimmer can be up there pretty high on the
That's up
list.
there.
That's not something I would guess. Country club swimmer.
Pull up some old pictures of me.
Sometimes you
and,
got to do
No,
it.
we don't.
And the goggles.
We don't need to have that on.
Sometimes
here.
you got to do it.
So this is a family-friendly show. We don't need to
respect
see you in a
it.
speedo with goggles. Just being honest.
Brother, sometimes you got to roll to the country club and jump in the pool.
That's what you got to do. I get it. So you bounced around all the sports.
Yeah.
And when did you know football was it?
It was really going into high school.
Yeah.
I cut out baseball, cut out lacrosse, stopped playing both of those. So it was football, basketball. And, I'm realistic and I love basketball. Basketball was, it was at probably middle school, it was like my favorite. But I kind of looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, you know what? I'm a 6'4" white power forward. Probably not going to go very far with this. And, I loved it. and it was great. But, you know, I'm being a 6'4", prototypical pro style quarterback. Like I had the frame, I had everything, you know, to be a quarterback. And like when I started getting into high school, it was just football. I just fell in love. You know, I had never really dove into like the X's and O's of it. And then, you know, I've always been kind of like a math, you know, kind of logical person. And I love playing the chess game, you know, in terms of football. Like there was just something about it that drew me in. And really when I got into high school, I realized like, man, I could probably go pretty far with this. You know, I started playing, you know, varsity my sophomore year. My coach didn't let us play and until we were sophomores, really. Very rarely did they start freshmen, but won the job my sophomore year. And at that point, you know, I started getting some offers and I realized that, man, this is something I could really do, you know, and something I could make a future out of. And that was really that sophomore year was like, okay, you know, this is where we're going.
That's good. We have a lot of, I'm finding out a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Shortstop, baseball. Basketball was my first love all the way till now.
Yeah.
Still love basketball more.
Yeah.
I played point guard. And my coach did the same thing. He said, I told you could play college basketball. He goes, but how many 6'5" white point guards you see? There's not very many. He goes, what about 6'5" white quarterbacks? Let's give it a shot.
See a lot of those.
Good job, coach. Okay.
Exactly.
Good decision.
Exactly.
So it's funny that happens.
Very
But I was the
similar.
same way. I loved basketball, still do.
Yeah.
But I was just a little better at football. Well, I was actually better at basketball. I just was going to go further in football.
Yeah.
You think you could have made it to the league?
No. In basketball?
Yeah.
No, not at all. I
say
could
you-
have played college
You say
basketball.
you
You played point guard?
I was better. I had better accolades. Like I was an All-American basketball player. I was only an All-State football player.
You were All-American?
Yeah, you're a two-time Super Bowl champion football player. If that would have
Flex.
scaled, like, you know your career, right? As an NFL quarterback, you know that.
He did all right.
So if you're a better
had a decent
basketball,
career.
I was a better basketball player. I mean, obviously, I stopped playing basketball,
Yeah,
so I'm not. But I was
I'm
better at
just-
basketball in high school.
Just looking at the graphs in my mind. Whatever you want, man.
Okay, I hear you.
I do have a question though, because it's interesting to me when you guys make it to the NFL. Like you guys said, that it almost sounds like that was never like an actual dream of yours until an opportunity presented itself. Because you always said that you were like, oh, I didn't want to make it to the NFL, and then when I got offers, like you had just mentioned, it's like, okay, maybe I can do that. It becomes a reality. How does that work out for you guys? Like, I would imagine, being a non-athlete, that's a dream you want to do your whole life, is make it to the NFL. Is it like a pipe dream until somebody says, hey, there's something in you?
I think
you can
everyone's
do that.
different. So I'm going to start this off. I think everyone's different. Some people grow up from day one, like I want to do football. I'm going to be in the NFL. I want to do this. Some guys, for me, same thing. I was not that. I just wanted to get to school. Football was going to get me to college, pay for college. Then once I got there, it was like, I'm just going to play this. Then after a couple of years, like, okay, you have a chance to go. For me.
Right.
So I think everyone's a little bit different. I'm not sure how you guys were. That's what I was going to get into. Like, was it always for either one of you as a little kid? Some people see that kid, like they watch, Peyton Manning on TV, and you're like, man, I want to be that right from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? Whatever
Right.
it is. So when, like Spence said, when did it realize? When was it a dream? And then when did dreams start to become reality?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, growing up, only thing I wanted to do was play sports. Basketball, baseball, football. And football is definitely my first love. Loved the game. My dad would let me play for a while. Finally let me play when I was like in 4th grade. And ever since then, I just took off with it. Just loved it. Loved, how physical the game was. You can, be as physical and brash as you want on the field, the competitive nature, getting to hit guys. So for me, like I've always loved football, always had the dream to go play. For me, my dream was to play in college first. I wanted to play for the Buckeyes. I wanted to be A.J. Hawk and those guys, on Saturdays. And then, as you get older, and it's kind of like, for a while, you just trying to be the best you possibly can in high school, win a job. And then, like you said, once you start getting offers, I was okay. I can play at the Division I level, high level schools want me. And then when you get to college, you start making plays, the NFL is the next step. So that's when it kind of started clicking in my mind too, is that, I got the tools and the gifts and the traits from God to, take it to the next level. And for me, that's always something that I dreamed of doing. And for me, it's always been that. But like you said though, too, I loved basketball growing up.
Yeah.
Loved it. I mean, my mom was a McDonald's All-American basketball player in high school.
Hey.
Played at Bowling Green. And then played a couple years overseas.
Okay.
So, basketball was huge in my family too. My sister played. My girlfriend was a pretty good basketball player too.
Who wins?
Oh,
One-on-one.
I win.
Are you sure?
Listen, unless I let her win. Her brother.
She looks like she's objecting over there.
Yeah.
Take it to the driveway.
Yeah, she might not agree, but no, but it's always fun, playing pickup in the front yard. My parents would never let me win. Like we would play out there for hours. My dad would be elbowing me. Mom drop stepping and one on me. Never won. And then all of a sudden I'm like 6'2", 6'3" in 8th grade. No one wants to come in the driveway and play me anymore. It's funny how no one kept coming back outside to play with me. Yeah. So, but for me, it was always, basketball, football, but football was always my one love, definitely.
For me, it was pretty similar, I'd say. It wasn't like one street, hey, I'm going to go play football or I'm going to go play baseball or basketball. It was, I wanted to be a professional athlete. Like that was the pipe dream my whole life. Like I remember writing
in football
down,
or just professional
athlete.
Okay.
Like I didn't know what it was because I played everything. I didn't care if it was freaking swimming, I didn't care if I went to the Olympics, whatever. Like I just wanted to be a professional athlete. That was what I wanted. Yeah, Michael Phelps, I don't know. But that was what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be professional. I wanted to do sports for a living. That was because I was just a huge sports kid. Like my dad and my mom were very sporty. My dad was a basketball guy. My mom was actually a swimmer. That's probably a big reason why we ended up at the country club swimming. And like their whole thing was they wanted to let me do what I wanted to do. And they didn't want to force me to play sports because I'm the oldest. And they were like, hey, so when I was growing up, I played t-ball, I played, basketball, whatever, all these little sports. And my dad was like, hey, I want to take him and just try something else. So he took me to a Boy Scouts meeting. And it was like in my elementary school cafeteria. And the reason he got me to go was because he said at the end of it, they have a campfire and they do s'mores. I freaking love s'mores. I was like, I'm going.
I knew I could trust
me
you.
Up, bro.
I knew I could trust him.
And that was how he got me to go. And I showed up, and the whole time what they were doing was they were making paper airplanes. And I got so freaking bored. By the end of it, I was shooting hoops on the side. My dad's like, all right, he's a sports guy. So like for me, it was always sports. It didn't matter what, but it was sports. And I wanted to play at the professional level, but I didn't know what it was going to be, what it was going to look like. And it was always kind of that pipe dream. Like, hey, that's what I want to do, but I don't know how realistic it is. And then, you get into high school and it's like, oh, okay, people are telling you, you got a chance to go play in college. And I wasn't sure where I was going to end up, but still at that point, hey, the goal is to go to college, and play for free and go to school for free. And so my parents don't have to pay. Like that was the big goal. And then once I got there, I was like, man, I want to play. But I think the most, when it really became like realistic for me was probably my junior year when I started having some success at K-State. And before that, everyone was kind of like, yeah, hopefully you can, make something out of your career in college. But then we won the Big 12 championship and people are telling you, hey, you might have a chance to do this thing. And that was when it got real. Like it was always that dream and kind of, I wouldn't say a goal. It was a dream and then it turned into a goal when I became really a junior in college. And that was like, all right, this is real. I could really do this. And it's surreal because it's been my dream my whole life. And now it's, actually happening.
That's really cool, man. You could see it on your face too when you got drafted. That's one of the cool things I saw when they showed you and everything. You could tell how much it meant to you, and that really was cool. You love the game. I don't think that, and I think part of it I'll get into it because I want to ask your guys' opinion on it. But I think the NIL and some of the stuff that happens in there takes the love of the game away for people.
Absolutely.
And I think watching you two at least, you're either really good actors or you really love the game. And I think you guys really love the game. I think that's why Steelers fans are excited. Yeah. And so that's cool. But because I do want to talk about how you got to where you went to in school. But, we started this thing out talking about quarterbacking. So you got to tell us a little bit about your high school football playing days.
Yeah.
It's a unique story in there. So go ahead and tell us about it.
Yeah. I mean, going into it was my junior year. Quarterback gets hurt week 3. One of my best friends tears his MCL. And, we lose like 4 games. We're like 0-4.
What position are you playing at the time?
DN, outside linebacker. Just outside linebacker. Playing a little tight end, jump ball stuff in the red zone. And then I go to my coach. I'm like, hey, I played quarterback a little bit growing up.
Everybody wants to be the quarterback.
Baseball player. I can sling it a little bit. Can definitely run. Played running back growing up my whole life. I was like, I don't want to go, 0-8 this year, 0-10. Like, let's give it a shot. And so he's like, he's all in on it. Coach Hillerich, great dude, great coach. Loved playing for him in high school. And, we roll into a Wednesday practice going into week 4. We're playing a good old Tangy Orange team, and we end up beating them by like 30. And I think I threw for 3 touchdowns. One was a bubble screen, though. So, receiver made a play.
Take them all.
All they saw was 60-yard touchdown on the stat line. Exactly. Ran a couple in, and we kind of just went from there. Yeah. And they ended up getting the playoffs, going like 6-4. And ended up losing Old Tangy Orange actually later in the year. But it was fun. Playing quarterback's fun because, like Will is, like you get to kind of control the whole game. always have a say in what goes on the play on offense. So for me, it was cool. It was a cool experience, but all the stuff, all the X's and O's that they got to know on the offensive side of the ball at the next level. I don't know if I don't know if that would have worked out good for me.
That was the breaking
Were you
point.
more of a running quarterback or throwing, or were you dual
I like to
purpose?
say I was dual threat.
Yeah?
I could run, I could throw it a little bit if I had to, but a lot of quarterback powers, a lot of zone reads that I was keeping. So for me, I ran a lot, but we threw it a little bit. We ran a spread offense, but glorified running back.
See, there we go. And then your senior year, they said no more.
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't play my senior year of high school.
Oh,
the
really?
COVID stuff happened, and then they kept pushing the season back and back for college and high school, and then they were going to talk about the spring season. And after talking to Coach Day and those guys, like, hey, do what you got to do, and we ended up just not playing that year.
Did the whole team didn't? Or you?
No, the team ended up playing like 5 games, and then I was coming back because I got hurt after my junior year, tore my MCL against Orange in the playoffs. And so I was coming back from that and then just decided to rehab it some more. And then I early enrolled to Ohio State that January.
So that's enough about your quarterback days. That's was it, because I think I know the answer, but I just want to ask it anyway. The second Ohio State offered, it was over for everyone else, right?
For me, yeah. But my parents and my dad, they wanted me to, continue to look at other schools and they wanted me to make, they didn't want me to jump and have to feel like I had to go to Ohio State growing up 15 minutes away and being a fan growing up. But for me, I loved Coach Day. But when I first got offered, it was Coach Meyer. It was Urban. And Coach Johnson was there, and just knowing that 15 minutes from home, one of the best university in the country.
And
having the best defensive line coach ever be there gave me the best shot to get in there, get developed the most I can, and prepare myself for the next level. And once Coach Day got the job, got a chance to meet him and his family, how he does things, and it was a no-brainer. I ended up committing to him at like midnight when I was playing Xbox after like one of my first visits there to meet him and the rest of his staff that he brought. And I just told him, yeah, I'm coming, Coach, like on Xbox at like midnight. And didn't even tell my parents. The next morning I wake up, go down to breakfast, and my dad's sitting there. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and my mom went out to go get food to make. And I'm sitting there and me and my dad are eating breakfast. And I'm like, hey, Dad, I got to tell you something. He freaks out. He's like, you get in trouble like this and that. And I'm like, no, it's nothing like that. But I told Coach Day I committed last night. And he was like, what? Like, you told him that without telling us? And I was like, no, I just told him I'm coming. And so we had to jump on the phone and make it official with my parents and family. And then from there we went. But yeah, it's a funny little story.
Nowadays, it's like nothing's really official, right? You can say anything. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
And you can even transfer out after you. We'll get into that later. But
crazy.
Will, what about you? What was the school like? You got offers from lots of places?
Not really.
Okay.
I only had 5 Power 5 offers coming out. I wasn't like a super highly recruited guy. I felt like I should have been more highly recruited. I got my first offer after my sophomore year of high school. I got it from Rutgers, and I was like, okay, now that maybe the floodgates will open, and then I'll get a bunch of more offers. And after that, it was, it took a while. I think I got like an offer from Yale, and then it took until the problem is my junior year I got hurt. It was a very similar situation to actually what you were talking about. It was halfway through the year I broke my arm. And so I was out for the year, like a bad break. And we had to throw in like our middle linebacker to play quarterback. And that kind of derailed my recruitment a little bit. I felt like that junior year is, I've already got eyes on me, and that's the time where I'm going to turn it on and really show them I'm a D1 quarterback. And then 6 games into the season, it's our biggest game of the year, like our rivalry game, and I get hurt. And then, after that, I never heard from Penn State again. Like I went up and visited them. And
was that your dream? Like, was Penn State your school? Okay.
Always wanted to go to Penn State. Same deal as him. My dad went there. My sister goes there now. Like I always wanted to go to Penn State. I was blue and white, till I die kind of deal. And that was always my dream. And when they stopped talking to me, they took a commit. Micah Bowens, who was like a dual threat guy from Bishop Gorman.
Where's he now?
He's not playing ball.
There
anymore,
we go. Good job, Franklin.
Hey, I let the game speak for themselves. But I definitely held those feelings. I didn't forget them. And that was the thing. Like
you should have saw him going. Didn't even cut you off. You should have saw him going into Penn State week this week.
I was going to get to that because I
it was like a different guy. Like Will's an outgoing, joke around with them type of guy, and then we come in there that Monday, it's our off day. And I'm like, we got Penn State this week. And Will's just like this, like just cutthroat the whole week. I mean, the whole week.
There you
like
go.
even if I'm messing with him on the sideline, like in practice, he wasn't in the mood for any of that week. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
Usually a goofy guy, but that week I was all business. But yeah, I mean, I like going through the process. I was getting recruited by all the schools around me in the Northeast, like Pitt, Syracuse, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Penn State, obviously, Boston College, all those schools, and none of them ended up offering me. They were just stringing me along for years and years. Only 5 offers I had, Power 5, were Rutgers, Maryland, and Maryland wasn't even a real offer. It was like conditional. Hey, they had 5 guys on scholarship, and if one of them leaves, then you can come. It was one of those offers, but it was, I don't understand how all that stuff works. And then Minnesota, and then Kansas and Kansas State, and my whole life, my dream was to play big time football. And I when it came down to it, Minnesota had taken another guy in the class below me. I don't even want to get started on that, and they kind of screwed me there. And I was ready to go to Minnesota, and then they did that. So then that was out of the picture. Rutgers took a guy that was out of the picture. I didn't really want to go there. Maryland didn't end up having a guy transfer, so I couldn't go there. So it was really Kansas and Kansas State and the Ivy Leagues or the Group of Fives. I had like Cincinnati and Temple, which are all great schools, but it's not the high level of football that I was looking for. And then, I think my grandma's still pissed I didn't go to Yale or Harvard or one of those Ivy League schools.
It's a halfway decent education.
Not a bad education.
It's not a Miami of Ohio education.
Well, exactly.
Being honest, Harvard of the Midwest, right?
I guess they say that.
You got to compare it to another school in the analogy. I don't think that counts.
What?
You're like, it's a good school. It's like this other school, but from over here.
From further over.
Harvard of the Midwest.
Harvard doesn't have to say anything about anything.
Harvard, I think Harvard calls themselves the Miami of the East. I think.
We should check.
Yeah, I'll check on that. But I wasn't ready to give up my dream of playing big time football yet. And I knew if I was going to Kansas, I was gonna go to Kansas State because the Jayhawks were pretty bad at the time, and I took it. It was crazy how it worked. It was spring going into my senior year, and I sent a DM to their O-line coach. Didn't hear back for a couple months. DM'd him later in the spring, and he finally got back to me. And he's like, "We love your film."
Why the O-line coach?
He was our area recruiter.
Oh, he was the recruiter. Okay.
So, and he had followed me, and you usually can't DM people on Twitter unless they follow you. So he had followed me, and right away I DM'd him.
That's wild. It happens in the DMs. That's
a lot of times it does. And Twitter,
another form of communication. That's insane.
Crazy to me.
It's crazy
because outside looking in, I would imagine it's like official. No, I mean you got to go through somebody who goes through somebody.
Not anymore. I don't think.
He's like,
you know how many letters
informal.
I got every single day when I started being like I only played quarterback my senior year.
Yeah.
Like every day we came home and I had just letters. Yep. Like it was letters and postcards. You had to open up every stupid letter.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, that's brutal. But now it's easier.
Way different. Yeah.
A lot easier with the phone. So
sure.
We're just talking. And it literally within 2 days, talked to the quarterback coach the next day, talked to the OC. The following night, the head coach called me and offered me. And I was like, whoa, 2 days. And these guys, so, to me, I was like, these guys really believe in me and they want me. And that's something that was important to me. I was like, I don't want to go play for somewhere where I had to beg them to give me an offer and they finally caved in, I wanted to go somewhere where I was wanted. And I felt wanted there. They asked me, hey, do you want to take a visit? And I said, sure. They said, we'll give you an official. It was like the first weekend I could take official visits going into my senior year. Oh. So I took one, not thinking I was going to go there. It was my dad and my brother. I didn't even bring my whole family. I just was like, hey, I'll take a visit to a Big 12 school. And then nothing else really came around. And when I took that visit, I remember my brother came home, who now my brother plays offensive line at Kansas State, which is kind of a full circle moment. He was the one that came home and he told my mom, he's like, Will's going to go there. And I was like, really? I was like, really? You think? Like, it's really far away. He knew it. He was like, that's the place for you. And I loved everything about it except the fact that it was 18 hours away from home. Yeah. But, get into the summer and it's getting kind of late. Spots are filling up. And I felt like I needed to pull the trigger. And the only thing I didn't like was the distance. And I was like, I can get over that, And so I took a shot, went to a new place, and it all ended up working out.
Wow. That's crazy. And my mom's from Kansas, and her family split down the line, K-State and
is that right?
KU and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's funny.
But you went there, and you only went for 2 years?
4.
You went 4 years and then transferred.
Yep, 4 years. I'm a year older than Jack, so I went in 2020, right before COVID hit, early enrolled, and got sent home for I didn't even get spring ball my first year. So I was there for 2020 to 23, my 4 years.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a long way. And still nothing from Penn State.
Yeah.
I'm going to text Franklin right now. Wow. I mean, it's kind of crazy how everything works. I mean, you went to the school you wanted to go to right from the get-go.
Yep.
You didn't go to the school you only wanted to go to, but you got to play them. Full
Eventually.
circle, come around,
Yep,
right?
Exactly.
And that probably felt pretty good.
That was awesome. And like I going into that game, like Jack said, I was, very mentally I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I think I didn't play well that day, but we willed ourselves to win. And that was a big defining moment for us this year as a team. But like me, I learned a lot from that game because I was like, I can't make one, just because it means a lot to me, I can't make one game bigger than another, And I learned a lot from that game and didn't play my best, but we scrapped out a win and it was sweet. It felt
awesome.
Felt damn good.
Well, as we start to get into the college, because I want to get into a little bit of the Ohio State stuff and college football and that kind of stuff, we'll let's go for another. Let's go to Spence and see what's next.
Bartender over here. Yeah, this is going to be.
Good sound. Love that sound.
Great sound.
We got to do the next one. Next. You guys need to check out the Alabama Boss. You guys know about the Alabama Boss?
Oh, what's that?
All right, so we have no affiliation with this dude,
No,
but he's
what's up?
hilarious. It's just this dude from Alabama that drinks Natty Light. He calls it gas station beer.
Yeah.
He's just crushing Natty. But they make him try craft beers, and he hates all of them, but it's the funniest
Super
thing.
redneck. He's hilarious. You sit there and laugh for like 10 minutes.
Got a glorious beard, though.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Gotta look this guy up.
Yeah.
Oh, he's funny.
The old Alabama Boss.
Young kids on social. What do we got, Spence?
All right,
Talk
this
to me.
is called Blackberry Smoke from New Realm
Blackberry Smoke.
Brewing Company. It's an American lager. It's 4.5%. Little bio is,
Must be nice.
hey, it's not very often the worlds collide, as in this case of this special collaboration lager. Atlanta's own Southern rock legends, Blackberry Smoke, got together with award-winning brew crew at New Realm, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Do you know that band?
No, I don't know this brewery either. So it's probably going to be great, guys.
I like it.
You confused?
Well, no, I guess
think it's good.
what confused me, I guess, is I thought it was gonna have blackberry flavor to it. It doesn't, so I'm
no.
confused.
Not really.
But
Yeah.
Blackberry Smoke is just the band.
Yeah.
That's why I was confused. 'Cause I'm like, I taste no blackberries. Like
See,
they
yeah.
blew it.
I'm going to be honest. I was confused the whole time reading that. I didn't know.
That's a hell of a bio, especially
good,
to
though.
put on.
It's
the
really
can.
good. Yeah,
I like
once-
that.
Now I'm
Wow.
over the
I really like
blackberry
it.
thing.
Yeah.
it's really good.
because
It's a really
I thought it was
good beer.
you were
blackberry.
bracing
That
for
tastes good.
impact.
I was braced for blackberry and smoke.
Yeah.
Like a little,
like a
like
little
sitting
bit
around
of
the fire.
Sorry to disappoint you, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like a lager.
I like it.
That's really good.
you go.
That's
All
good.
right.
That's a really good lager.
All right,
lager.
New Realm.
New
you
Realm.
go.
Well done. Yeah, that's that all there. Like that's an easy.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
good beer. That's a really good license. I don't even know. What do you say 4 or 5? So that's actually
Four.
light.
Oh yeah.
4 or
Light
5.
beer?
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you have something, Spencer? You were going to say something?
No, I got to grab a paper towel because I
You
spilled.
spilled on us again? Good. All right.
This is like a ongoing
Happens.
theme.
He usually
I
spills
got
on
it.
himself and
Yeah.
just things happen.
Oh, boys, we've had some bad ones. This is, I could have gone the rest of the show and no one would have ever known, but I have too much equipment over here. I've drenched this floor.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not, listen,
He blames the people that sent the beer, even though
Yeah.
they've sent it like weeks before.
Dog, they shake it. You ever get a package from UPS and it not be thrashed?
But you blame the person that sent it.
I blame everyone but me. Okay? It's not my fault.
Actually, these stupid chairs. I can't even open these. The chairs.
Who makes these chairs?
Oh man. All right. So I want to get into Jack. We'll go to you for a second. So when Ohio State, it's like I'm going, and this is it.
Yep.
Now your parents, everyone's excited. Your friends are all excited. How many quarterbacks did you have there?
How many quarterbacks do we have there?
Quarterbacks.
At Ohio State?
When you were there, like starting quarterbacks,
We had-
because you had some big ones.
we had CJ,
Yep.
and then went Kyle. So we had CJ freshman, sophomore year. Then Kyle was a guy, our junior year, and a good buddy of mine. Then he transferred to Syracuse, and we bring Will in. So we had those three.
Was it Kyle Sheward, the guy that just got drafted?
Kyle McCord.
Kyle
Yeah,
McCord,
just got
that's
drafted by
right.
the Eagles.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And then you had Quinn.
Yeah, we had Quinn. Quinn was my
yours.
roommate. And
Right.
he
How
left
long were
that-
y'all roommates? Just for a year?
He came in, he skipped his senior year, came in early, like a week before fall camp. He got there, roomed with us, and then he left 4 months later, right after we lost to Tillman North, our freshman year. So he left right after that.
So y'all weren't together for very long.
No, just 5 months.
So the whole play in the whatever bowl game that was like, it was cool, but it wasn't like a dude that was your roommate for like 5 years where it felt even cooler.
Yeah, no, he wasn't one of the road dogs. He was just there for about 5 months, then left, went to Texas. But he was homesick. I mean, I kind of figured, that was probably the play there. You know what I mean? And worked out great for him. In. And then Will comes in, hearing a lot about it. I just told the story last night to him and his family. The first time I ever saw Will play, we were watching, we were all hanging out. I mean, some of my best friends from Ohio State watching Kansas State play. Who you guys playing? Like
TCU.
It was TCU.
The Big 12
and we're watching them, and this quarterback keeps making plays. Like, damn, this guy's 6'4", 240 run. He ran for like 100 yards that game or something. Threw a couple touchdowns, and he got up the one time was flexing over a guy. We're like, man, this guy's kind of badass. I kind of like this guy. So we started rooting for him the rest of the night, and then it's funny how fate has its way, and then. Fast forward to, my end of my junior year, and I'm going through the process of coming back, and I was coming back for anyone ever knew, and talking to Coach Day, and I was like, what's the quarterback situation going to be, after
So you
Kyle
said come back because you had a chance to go to the draft?
Yeah, after my junior year, and I decided to come back. I wasn't ready to go. Wanted to finish off the way we were able to last year. And Kyle had just gotten the portal, and I was like, what are we going to do at quarterback? We only got a couple young guys and haven't really played at all, no experience. Like, what are we going to do there? And Coach Day just kind of smiled. He was like, we got the guy. And I was like, who? He was like, I can't really say anything yet, but
Still waiting for that check to clear.
I think we're gonna get Will Howard. And so I was like, oh wow, the guy from K-State. He's like, yeah, and I was like, no shit. He's the guy that I was watching, a year before, rooting for him in the Big 12 championship. So then he comes in, and then the rest is history, as they say.
So what happens? You're at K-State, and you decide what?
So it was coming out of my fourth year at K-State. I just graduated, or I just graduated. Yeah, that fall, and I had one more year of eligibility. The goal was coming out of after the season that we won the Big 12 after 2022. My goal was, hey, we're going to have a really great senior year, go to the league. And I talked to Chase. I'm already ready to go with Rep 1. I'm all fired up. And the season, we went 8-4. I'm thinking that we're going to go out there and. We brought a lot of guys back from that Big 12 championship winning team. I think we're going to make a push for maybe a national championship, and just didn't go how I wanted it to go. And we had a young kid, Avery Johnson, who was really talented. I was getting paid no NIL money, and he was getting a lot. And, there were some things, and I think that was the direction they wanted to go. K-State's been known long time for, running quarterbacks. Colin Klein, Michael Bishop, L. Roberson, all those guys are they can run the ball. And Avery is a 22 mile an hour, fast guy. And I understood, I'd played there for a while. I'd gotten a lot out of my career there, but I just didn't think coming back for a fifth year there was the best option for me. I think I had kind of maximized my potential there. And I knew that if I wanted to go and do another year of college, that it had to be somewhere else. And I wanted to give myself a new challenge. And I was still, when I entered the portal, after that, Iowa State game, my senior year, the last game of the year, I was still under the impression that I was going to go to the draft. I was just doing it as saying hey, if there's something that comes up that is better than, the idea of going to the draft, then maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll jump on it. And obviously, I didn't feel like my talent level met where my draft stock was. I was a day 3 to undrafted guy. And then, I said, going into the NFL, obviously, you can have success wherever you're drafted, but you want, ideally starting quarterbacks. That's my goal, is to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. So they usually come from the first round. So I wanted to give myself the best chance to do that. And going into the portal, there were a couple teams reaching out. Miami was texting me a lot, and their big pull was, they had a lot of money and they were throwing around money. And and then USC was also in the picture, and USC, I thought Lincoln Riley was an unbelievable coach and developed quarterbacks really well, but then Ohio State came into the picture, and it was the two things I was telling teams.
Still no Penn State.
No Penn State.
Still no James Franklin.
Zero word. They had Drew and they were good. So okay. 0 word. But the two things that I was telling every team when I was in the portal was, I want to compete for a national championship, and I want to elevate my draft stock and develop as a quarterback. And I just felt like those two things there was no better place than Ohio State for me, you know, in terms of having Ryan Day as my head coach, having, you know, he was telling me when I was getting recruited, we're going to bring in a guy with NFL experience to be the OC. We brought in Bill O'Brien for 2 weeks. And brought in Chip Kelly. But playing under those two guys, I got so much better this past year. I always say I developed as a man at Kansas State. I learned how to be a man there, and I really grew up and learned a lot of things there, like off the field. But on the field, my development really all happened at Ohio State. I learned so much in this past year, and it just everything lined up. You know, I wasn't really sure how real it was at first. You know, it was kind of here and there. I wasn't really hearing from them a lot. I wasn't really sure. So I was like, you know, maybe I'm just going to go to the draft. I got a Senior Bowl invite like 2 days before I committed. And so I was ready to make that step and go to the draft. But there was just something inside of me that like, I just knew that I hadn't gotten everything out of my career in college. And I knew that there was more to accomplish, more to prove. And it was like a rocking chair decision, you know, sitting there in 50 years, am I gonna regret not having the opportunity to go be the Buckeye, you know, the quarterback for the Buckeyes? You know, like if I passed that opportunity up, I just wouldn't have sat well with me. You know, if I was sitting here this year as an undrafted, the guy that went undrafted and got cut, and I'm out of a job, I'm, you know, looking for a job right now. Like I knew that I had to give myself a chance, and Ohio State was easily the best option for me.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously worked out well for you. Jack, you said that you came back for your senior year. Was there any reason besides you just felt like you wanted to win a national championship? Like what was the deciding factor when you were going through the thought process?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, obviously I felt like I still had a lot to prove. You know, I thought that, you know, I came on kind of strong at the end of my junior year. You know, hadn't really played that much my freshman and sophomore year. You know, I was in the rotation both years, but junior year was my first year starting, and finally started to feel like I was playing at the level I knew I was capable of at the end of that year. And the way that things kind of shook out those few years, and being so close with Coach Day and the staff and Coach Johnson and the rest of the guys in the facility, and being from Ohio, I really wanted to bring a championship back to Columbus. And for me, I loved those guys so much that, you know, it was really an easy decision. I wanted to come back, and, you know, I had one more opportunity, like kind of like Will said, like if I didn't come back, like, you know, would I have regretted it, you know, and obviously be able to go back and do what we wanted to do and win a national championship. In hindsight, it's, you know, the best decision ever. But, you know, during that time, it was, you know, I knew that I wanted to come back. You know, a lot of people telling me that I should go and go get my journey started at the next level. And for me, it just wouldn't have felt right leaving those people that, you know, you show up and grind with every day and love and go to work with, you know, leaving them out to dry when we had another shot. And so, you know, for me, it was really about that. It was really about, you know, coming back and doing things the right way and leaving Ohio State better than, you know, when I came in. Because, you know, when you sign your name on
like that,
the letter of intent, you know, to play at Ohio State, you know, the expectation is championships. And so, you know, for me, it was all about, you know, coming back and leaving something there and bringing something back to the city of Columbus. And for Coach Day and his staff and Coach Johnson, those guys, it was the only thing that in my mind I was going to do and had to do.
You were the first guy to come back, weren't you?
I was.
You were the first one to announce. You started the trickle of everybody else deciding to come back.
Told everyone I was going to come back so we could, you know, do something special if we all decided to come back. And, you know, a lot of guys passed up opportunities to go in the draft last year who probably just about all of them would have got drafted the year before. And that's what's so special about this team is, you know, a lot of people talk about the NIL number that's attached to our team, but really we only had a few transfers that came in and played for us. You know, a lot of us were just coming back, you know, guys who had been in the program and been a part of the team and the brotherhood. And that's what made this year so special, that everyone passed up personal goals to come back for the betterment of one. And that's really the story this year.
That's cool. Obviously played out real well for you guys. What was your so you get so Coach Day tells you we got the guy. We got the guy. He whispers it, right?
We got the guy, yeah.
What was the first impression? Was he the dude that you saw on TV, or was there like this, boy, he looks like a country club swimmer?
Yeah, no, what's funny about that is I remember, you know, we were all pumped up. We see him, and it's like the first day you're there was like it was like winter workouts, right?
Yeah.
And so he's out there throwing with some of the guys, and we go out there and we're looking like, all right, this guy's huge. You know, he can sling it around. And so going on the spring ball, we're like, man, you know, I want to see how tough this guy is. Like, is this guy really that that gritty dude that we see on film? Like, is he really going to be like that? You know, a guy that can will us to victory, take a couple shots, you know, like you used to do back in the day, hang in the pocket, get hit, get right back up, like nothing's bothering him. And so that first spring practice, you know, I told JT, I was like, hey, we gotta test him a little bit. So, you know,
Like testing, like you were thinking about hitting him?
Oh, I hit him a few times. You know, he'd release the ball. You know, if I came free or something, and even if the ball's been gone for a couple seconds, I just give him a shoulder check, right? And the first couple times, a new guy kind of lets it go, but I could tell he's kind of getting pissed off. And finally, this one time during a blitz pickup period, he throws a slant, and I'm coming up right up the middle on one of our little stunts, and he throws it, and I just give him a little check right to like the chest, chin area, and he kind of goes back and he shoves me. He's like, "What the hell are you doing, man? Like, knock that shit off." And I was like, finally, I've been waiting for you to do something like that for the last 2 weeks, finally. And so then that's when we knew, we're like, okay, we got the guy.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta test him, and he finally got chippy. Listen, he knows being a quarterback, you can start every fight because you never have to be in it long.
Yeah.
Someone's
the
coming.
line's gonna come and take care of him. Yeah.
I've had many of those guys that would love to fight for you. Well, I do want to get in the national championship. I don't want to spend much more time on the college thing, but I have to ask. This is going to bring a lot of joy to me, just because, but not to you guys anymore. Michigan.
Oh, here we go.
That was coming.
Here we go.
Only because of Beal and Jason, my two boys. They're so like they won't watch TV. They're the types that won't type the M in all the messages. The same sort of stupid stuff that all the people do. And I'm just going to ask you one question about it because I don't care about anything else. Because I ask Ohio State fans the question: is it okay to lose to Michigan and win a national championship, or would you rather beat Michigan and not win a national championship? What's more important?
Winning a national championship.
You that squash all that. You know,
that takes no emphasis off how important the game is.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I understand that
exactly. But when you win a national championship, if anyone tells you they'd rather go 1-12 and just beat the team up north, you're crazy. You know what I mean? You're playing this game to win championships, and make no mistake about it, no one wants to beat those guys more than we do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you know, there's nothing we could have done after that. You know what I mean? We have our shot to go chase the ultimate goal, which is to win a national championship.
Yeah.
You know, and like in the NFL, you know, you lose 4 games in a regular season, you're probably the best. You're probably the number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. So that's kind of like the approach we took, especially with the expanded playoffs. And I think it's going to continue to be like that. Obviously, the game is still going to be the game because it is the game, the best rivalry in sport. But I think at the end of the day, I think you'd be crazy to say you would rather beat them and not win a national championship instead of win a national championship and not beat them. And in a perfect world, you do both of those things. But obviously, you know, we didn't. But winning a national championship kind of erases all that. For me, it does at least.
But
yeah.
And that's coming from a longtime Buckeye fan. Me just being new to the rivalry, you know, obviously I was a Penn State fan. So, you know, Penn State thinks that their rivals are Ohio State. And Ohio State just doesn't really see it that way. Like being on both sides of it,
little brother,
it's interesting.
Like
yeah.
whatever type thing, right?
It's interesting.
Cleveland.
You know,
the Browns.
It's just, exactly. But it's like, you know, I think that the rational Buckeye fan would say, you know, give me the championship.
I would hope
every
so
day
too.
of the week. I would hope so, you know. And obviously we want it, like we literally talk about it every single day. And there's a huge emphasis on it. No M's in the building. Can't wear, I don't think I've worn blue this whole year. You know, like it's very, very, it runs really deep and it means a lot to a lot of people.
Did you pick up on that quick when you got, like how fast when you got there? Because you said it's new. He obviously grew up without probably any, what is it, maize and gold, whatever the color is, in his house, right? Like it probably is not allowed.
Right.
Like you're new to it though. What did it take long for you to get?
I had to jump into it.
Okay.
And I knew that like I'm a person that doesn't, I've said this before, I don't do things like halfway.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to be a Buckeye, I'm going to be a freaking Buckeye. Like I'm not going to wear blue. I remember I showed up on my visit. I visited, I think it was right after you guys played in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri. And the second day I woke up and I put on a blue rowback hoodie. And I didn't even think about it and walked into the facility. And then I just, you know, I felt like people were looking at me weird. Nobody actually said anything to me. But as soon as I got in there, it was freezing cold. It was like damn near negative degrees. And I was walking around in a t-shirt because I didn't want to. I was like, Mom, can you throw this in like your purse or something? I like balled it up. And I was like, I can't. I don't want to do it.
Think you were tough.
Well, you know, I didn't want to be that guy, you know. I didn't want to be that guy. Yeah, I'll take my shirt off and wear a crop top or something. But no, it's you have to jump into it.
Okay.
And you
Good for you.
it's hard not to. Like when you first get there, it is, you know, it's new, it's different, you know, it means a lot to the people that have been there. But like I was, you know, we do Team Up North abs damn near every day. You know, every M in the building's crossed out. So it's like, you know, there's not a lot of, you don't really have a choice. You know, you got to kind of either dive in or you're going against everybody.
Good for you.
Seems pretty easy to adopt that hate. You know what I mean? Just real quick jump. What was interesting to me though this year, I felt like more so than any year that I've been aware of it, is that I feel like after that game, your organization caught a lot of heat. I feel like it was talking about your coach, talking about the what kind of ball club they running over there. Like, how did you guys handle that internally? Because to think about where you guys were after that game and then holding up the trophy at the national championship, I mean, that's just it felt like it was a different team. How did you guys handle all of that adversity internally?
Yeah, it was, you know, right after that game, I remember Coach Day brought all the leaders in, all the whole leadership council. We sat down, we had a meeting. He said, we're going to have a players only meeting tomorrow. I'm going to be in there and all of us, and we're going to just hash it out. Whatever you got on your mind, whatever you want to say to me. I mean, we had guys challenging Coach Day challenging guys, you know, O-linemen yelling at DB, like it was a heated meeting. It wasn't fun to be a part of, and nobody wants to be a part of that. But after that game, it's like we had no choice but to fight back. And the thing that we all clung to was we still had a chance to make a run. We're in the playoffs. Like, as dejected as we felt, you know, in that moment, we all said we can make this right by winning a national championship. And that's exactly what we did. And I think it talks a lot to the, you know, the leadership and the maturity of the group that we had last year. You know, a lot of these guys like Jack and you know, Emeka and Trey and all these guys that had came back, and, you know, one of the first goals I said coming in, you beat the Team Up North. Like, that is one of the cornerstones of being a Buckeye is you don't lose to the Team Up North. But it happened, and you have to deal with that. And as much as I would love to go back and replay that game and, you know, do stuff differently, we can't do that. You know, you have to move forward, and you have to right the wrong by winning a national championship. And I think we did a really, really good job of staying together. You know, we talk a lot about Ohio against the world, and that's, you know, you saw us holding up that flag, but it really became like the Woody against the world, like the team, the players against the world. And it was, I mean, people were saying all kinds of stuff about us, and we had to shut it all out. We had 3 weeks to get ready for Tennessee, and we came out pissed off. Like, you could just see it. You could tell from the moment we stepped on that field, like, I just knew that nobody was going to mess with us.
That's, you know. You can see it. I want to talk about the last thing in the college, I think, is I want to talk about two plays. We'll start with you, Jack. Mm-hmm. Do you think, is there a bigger play than the touchdown in the, was it the Cotton, whichever bowl? There's too many bowls now.
Yeah.
That against Texas.
The semifinals,
Against Texas. Is that the biggest play you made in your college football career?
I think, but I mean.
You had a big interception, though, in a game too, didn't you?
I had an interception against the Team Up North on the goal line.
Yes, I remember that play.
Yep.
Okay.
But I mean.
But that play was, I mean, Texas is going down to score to tie the game, I think.
21-14.
21-14. 2 minutes left.
You come off the edge. Obviously, you knock the ball out. It bounces perfectly to
right
you,
up to me. Didn't have to bend down.
It was awesome.
Hit me right here.
If you don't pick it up on the first scoop, do you still score? Guy had some speed coming off. There's a DB or a receiver.
Running back.
Coming.
It was a running back. It was Blue who runs like a 4.3. Yeah,
he's chasing you down.
But I don't know. You know, thankfully we don't have to.
You're right. You know, who cares, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who cares? But thankfully it didn't, and it popped right up to me, so I could get rolling.
All right, so you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
And that is it? I'm scoring. It's not, because, you know, some people would say just don't lose the ball. Like, what's in your mind? What's going on?
Yeah, for me,
I
literally bounced up to me. You know, those internal thoughts when you're playing a game. I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, this thing just popped right up to me. And I look up, I just see nothing but green grass. So I just I gotta get running. I'm like, I can't fall. I'm not gonna slip. Like, I just gotta get running. So I'm running, and there's no big board either in Jerry's world. It's up top. Because I was trying to look to see if someone was coming from behind. So I was kind of loose with it. And I knew the running back was right there on a little swing route. He was right there. And so I keep peeking back, and the whole way down I'm running, I feel like I'm in quicksand. You know, I'm like, come on, man. I'm gonna get caught. Don't fumble. And I see Hartline's like following me. He's like backpedaling. He's pointing. And so like the last time I looked, it's like one of my favorite memories. I have from Ohio State besides, when the confetti was falling down, we won the national championship. I look back for the last time, and I look back over my left shoulder, and all I see is 4 or 5 of my teammates running right behind me with their hands up. At that moment, I was like, holy shit, I'm going to score this. I'm going to score a touchdown right here. And I just kind of put it in cruise control so I didn't fall or didn't slip. And it was a special moment. Obviously, for me, I was just thinking that, man, we just punched our ticket to the natty. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I wasn't even thinking about the play, more so just that we just went up 2 touchdowns and, we're going to go play in the national championship.
That was something else we have in common. I have an 80-yard touchdown in college too, but we're not going to talk about that now. Yours was 82, right? 82?
83.
83. See, he got me
Hey,
about
don't
3 yards.
don't shave a yard off.
Who's counting?
My bad.
Who's counting?
Well, that was obviously, I remember watching that game. I love college football. That was iconic. It was just because watching that game, like, you just want to see a good game.
Yeah.
And like, they score, what's going to happen? It's like, so it's really exciting. But
yeah.
I would, and Will, I want to talk about a play that you may not want to talk about. But I have said on this show before the draft, I've been a big advocate of the Steelers drafting you for a while now. Spence, we can go back.
Yeah, we got it on tape.
It's on tape. Yeah. I thought that if they had a second-round pick, they should take you in the second, third. I was like, get this. And then obviously when things happen, it's like they can see they can wait. But
right.
I think I said on here, third round, we should take him in the third round.
Yeah, I mean, I can't recall specifically, but you were very high on him.
But anyway, and it was less about your play. I think you're a phenomenal football player. I think you're a big guy, can run and do a lot of things. When I watched you play the Oregon game, the first game, and obviously you slid. And I said to myself, and I remember watching that game, because obviously all my buddies are Ohio State, right?
Yep.
And I remember watching that game, and both teams had national championship aspirations. And you were leading them back. I thought y'all were going to win it. And that happened. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I've been there before where he's probably in that locker room. If I don't know, I was like, I don't know Will at all. I said, but I'm willing to bet that he's in that locker room kicking his own butt. I let my team down. I let the fans down. I let my family down. I let myself down, all that stuff. That's what I'm imagining, because that's how I would have felt. And I remember thinking, man, I want to wonder how this guy's going to respond. And so I think a lot of people would have folded, or at least not bounced back the way you did. And so I've said on here, and I've said to everybody that I've talked to before the draft and even post-draft, people are like, what do you think? And I don't even talk about your physical skill set or what you bring. To me, and then you go on and you win every game except one, obviously, but you go win a national championship. You go beat that team again in the Rose Bowl. Like, I mean, it wasn't even really fun to watch. I'm sure it was fun to play, but it wasn't fun to watch after a while. I told you, I want good games. But to me, that said more about who you are as a competitor. And I'm like, that's a dude I want on my team. Because I've said a million times on the show when people ask me about linemen, give me a guy with more heart over talent and less heart. And it showed me that when at the end of the season, the way you bounced back and won, how much heart you have. And so I don't need to relive all that play. But if there's any little nugget of that hits you, I'd love to hear about it, because I could see. I've been there. I'm like, I told Spence, man, I've thrown an interception at the end of the game when we're leading, and it's like, why did I throw that stupid ball? And I mean, you play long enough, you're going to make mistakes.
Exactly.
But how do you respond to it? And I just, I'd love to just. And I know you probably talked about it a million times. I don't watch social media or TV, but I don't do anything.
You ain't never seen the
TV. I was definitely answering that question a lot in the draft process, but
I'm sure.
Like, I could not have said it better myself. Like, that is exactly what I was thinking in the locker room. I just let everyone down. I literally remember in the locker room going around to everybody in the locker room and like hugging them and saying, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And almost every single one of these guys, like, I remember you being like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, why'd you just say that? And like, everyone almost to a T basically said, it's not on you. And at that moment, I was like, we got a special
Makes
group.
you feel a little better, but it still kills you.
But still, it sucks. It's brutal. Going to media after it sucks. It was a brutal play. I learned a lot from it because, we're driving down in a 2-minute situation. Obviously, we had the ball in field goal range. We get an OPI call. We get backed up. Clock's running, so we lose some time. Then we get backed up. Then they do the 12 men on the field thing. And, it's 3rd and 26 or whatever. And in my helmet, I'm hearing we need 15 yards. And so I'm thinking we ran the last play we ran, a 3-level stretch to the boundary. So we're trying to get which, we didn't really need to get the ball out of bounds because we had a timeout. But, I could have thrown the check down, or the flat route, which is 6 yards, gotten 6 yards. But in my head, I'm like, we need 15. I can't throw that. So I pump faked it to him. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to just take off and see what I can get and see how far I can get. I remember looking up and seeing it tick from 2 to 1. And I tried to get a little extra yard and then I got down. But I learned in that moment that it doesn't matter, the yards, whatever. I just want to give my team a chance, And the fact that we left that thing without even giving Jaden a chance to try the field goal. I mean, even if it's a 50 8 yarder, just give us a chance. And I wish that I would have done that. But, something I like to hang my hat on is my ability to deal with adversity. And I think in my career at K-State and then at Ohio State this past year, I've seen pretty much every situation that a quarterback could see. I started off as a backup. I got thrown in as a true freshman, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I got benched. I've been a third string. I've been the starter, coming in and winning a championship. And then, having a guy come split time with you. I've seen almost every situation. I've thrown 3 picks in a game. I've thrown 4 touchdowns. I've done everything, And I've learned a lot. And I've learned how to deal with those tough times. And I think that's what sets me apart is because I've seen it, I've done it, and I know how to respond.
Yeah.
And, if I didn't go through a lot of those things at K-State and even early on in my time at Ohio State, I don't know how I would have done after throwing my first pass at Penn State, 110,000 people. I threw a pick 6. First play of the game, or first throw of the game was a pick 6. And, the Oregon game, I have a lot of great people around me that are really, really supportive. After that Oregon game, my mom was flying back to Philly. She was flying through Columbus. She decided to stop and stay with me. And I had a lot of people supporting me. Coach Kelly did a great job of, coming in. We watched the film and we were like, we're going to flush it. We're going to learn from it. We're going to flush it. But in that moment, man, it was tough. But I knew that we still had something special in us. It was a special group. And I was like, we can't let this end this way. And it almost put more of a chip on my shoulder, that people were saying, hey, this is the guy that screwed up the game. And, I'm putting it on myself. I ate it.
Good for you.
I ate it on the chin, and I like to do that. I wanted to take the credit for it because even though I played a really good game, I think it was 85% completion percentage, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nobody gives a shit because we didn't win, So at the end of the day, that was hard, but it taught me so much. And that was a big turning point in our season that, for me and for our team, I think.
Well, that's what you have to. You learn from it. You shouldered it. You didn't put it on anyone else, and that speaks volumes. And if it makes you feel any better, my first college pass was intercepted. My first college pass.
Really?
And my first NFL one too. So
hey, man, it happens.
Both?
It happens.
Yeah, it's
First
weird.
ever
That's
throw.
crazy.
My college one was intercepted by Larry Foote, who was my teammate here.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway,
awesome.
well, thank you for sharing that stuff with us. That's really cool. We are going to get in a little bit to now the Steelers. I know we don't have a lot of Steelers stuff to talk about, but I have to ask you guys a couple things to test your Pittsburgh knowledge.
Okay.
Deal.
Do you guys know the 3 rivers?
I do.
Do you?
I don't.
Can you name, how many of them can you name? Please at least name one. Please just know one.
One of them you got to know.
I'll say you got to know
one.
The Ohio River? The Ohio River. We got one.
I don't know the other ones.
That's
though.
all right. At least you got one.
I don't. I got some stuff to learn.
All right. Well, what are
You got
they?
the Ohio, the Allegheny, and the Monongahela.
The Allegheny. I knew that.
Monongahela.
Monongahela.
God bless you.
However you say it.
Monongahela. Okay, good. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That was they asked me that when I got drafted. How many, that was like their whole thing. How many rivers? I said I could name 2 of them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys know what our amusement park is called? That we have?
Oh.
This is bad. We should have done some studying before we got
No,
to
no one's going to care because I've never been there. I've been here
Cedar
20.
Point, is it?
Cedar Point's in Ohio.
That's
Cedar
Ohio.
Point, yeah.
That's in
No, I
Dusty.
knew I was messing.
Yep.
That's
No,
in
I don't.
Dusty.
I don't
It's
think I
called
know.
Kennywood.
Kennywood.
Kennywood. That's like the.
Okay.
It's like a big deal.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Again, I've never
Oh,
been
you've never
there.
been there. That's right. You said you've never been there.
After 20 some years, I've never
Yeah.
been there. My family's been there. It's not easy to go to.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get that.
you wouldn't blend well.
Everyone wants me to
how-
go on Halloween night, like when you wear like the mask and everything, like you like dress
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Let's do that. Do you guys know what a yinzer is?
Oh, yeah.
A Yinzer?
A yinzer?
I don't.
A yinzer.
You're about to meet one. His
You're about
name's
to-
Chef
yeah,
Evan.
As soon as he comes down,
Don.
Dan. Yeah, Yinzers are diehard. Well, I'm not even gonna say diehard. They're Pittsburghers.
Yeah.
Right.
They speak with a little bit of accent.
Yep.
They live, breathe, and die by the black and gold, all three sports.
I love it.
And Evan is our local Yinzer. He's a diehard all sports fan. And he's the reason that the fans love, because he has sat on this show before after the season and we're like, Evan, what do you think? He's like, blow it all up, get rid of all of them, fire Tomlin. And then he has to be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, but he's passionate.
Evan's the voice of the
cares
people.
about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, he cares
He's
about
the
it.
voice of the people.
He's the voice of the
Love
people. He's
that.
the people's champ.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, so a Yinzer, they say Yins. So instead of saying y'all,
Yeah.
or you all, you guys, whatever, say Yins.
Yeah.
Yins
Yep.
guys doing something. And do you know what I was for the last one I was trying to think. What's like the chocolate, like our candy factory? Anyone know it? There's a famous, famous around here, I guess. Evan will be mad. There's a famous, how's it called? Candy? That's the best way to say it. Chocolate factory? Not Dietz's. No, the one here.
Oh yeah, Willy Wonka's.
Willy Wonka's. Sarah's chocolate. Sarah's chocolate is a big
Sarah's chocolate.
Sarah's chocolate. Okay.
Okay.
What's our beer? What's the little
Icy Light, baby.
Icy Light.
Icy Light.
Icy Light. Okay, good job.
Know that.
Yes.
All right,
Okay,
I
Will.
figured you guys would know some of that stuff.
I got to try an icy light. I still haven't had one.
Yeah.
I
don't
guess
think I have
You
either.
got one down there?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
We
yes.
had-
I was gonna say,
we did have one with Coach Cower's face on it, and
Really?
we gave it to Coach.
And we
Cower.
drank it with Coach. Well, we drank them with Coach Cower here.
Yeah, with his
that's
face
awesome.
on the can.
I don't want to ruin anything, but Evan, I think, is making. I heard one of the things he's making tonight, and he's making a beer cheese, and he's making it with Icy Light.
Oh yeah.
let's go.
There we go.
That's
you'll
a
get,
little-
yeah,
there we
you'll
go.
get some of that.
Get a little taste of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, Jack, I want to just as we'll just talk until Evan comes down. Steelers defense.
Yeah.
That's what this place is about. They're really excited about you being here. I'm just gonna be honest. So obviously the first rounder, the big defensive lineman, we needed that to help with Cam as he's getting older. He's playing well still, but to have that help. But I think this draft was really well done for the Steelers in terms of no real reaches. They did needs. They got what they needed. I think you're a guy they're really excited about. Would you call yourself more of an outside linebacker or defensive end? How are you going to see? Like, what do you see your role being?
I see myself being as an outside linebacker. in
Okay,
this
the
defense. I do.
TJ, the Alex coming off the edge like
Right.
that. Stand up more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm excited about it. Like you said, the defense. I mean, you think of the Steelers, for a guy like me, you think of the defense.
Oh, for
Steel
sure.
curtain, you think
Everybody
about,
does.
Jack Ham, all those guys, Mean Joe Green, all the guys that, came and just been great, hard-nosed, gritty, tough football players, put on the black and gold. And for me, that's like who I try to be. You know what I mean? That's who, growing up, that's like, what my dad tried to instill in me, being, tough, gritty, hard-nosed, play the game, physical. So for me, being able to come into this place and really just exactly where I wanted to be. You know what I mean? Kind of the town, city kind of wanted to be in.
Yeah.
Tough, blue collar, hardworking people. And like you said, we got TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig. And I'm super excited to get in there and learn from those guys and go to work every day with them. And couldn't be more fired up. Obviously big Cam Hayward too, the brotherhood.
Yeah.
Run strong, Ohio State.
Boys.
Excited to get to work with all these guys and hopefully go win a couple championships.
Have you guys either one of you been to a game at Heinz?
I went to
Acrisure?
I've been to a pit game.
Yeah, I think you're
It's
allowed
still
to call
Heinz
it
to
that.
me.
Okay.
It's still Heinz.
Have you guys
But
ever been to a game?
I went to a pit game there.
Nope. So you haven't.
Exactly.
I haven't either.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Awesome.
Never been to a real.
It's unfortunately, I think the preseason kind of ruins. Like you want your first one to be like a real game,
Right.
so you'll lose a little bit of it, but it'll still be special. Coming out with all the towels and stuff. This is Evan.
What's up, Evan?
Evan, how's it going, man?
Yinzer, man. What's up?
We were just explaining what a Yinzer was.
Okay.
So we're about to find out.
Right? Just you say it 3 times, we disappear.
Like Beetlejuice. I've been making trips today.
Man.
He asked. I think he created a nice little plate over there
Oh,
for the
good.
ladies. He's bringing the plate down for them,
okay.
and then he'll explain what we have here.
All right.
Those
Okay.
French fries look amazing.
Yeah, we
Pretty good.
Yeah.
sample beer.
Is
sample
that's the
food.
beer cheese on there right there or no?
Yeah,
Is that it?
he'll explain everything to us when he comes back down. He's making trips tonight, I guess. So,
Yeah.
so defense excited about that. Obviously, you're going to go into a room that's got 2 guys already. Didn't you play with Skyler?
Yeah.
How unique? Do you guys have a decent relationship?
Oh yeah, he
that'd
was
be
like
cool.
he hosted me on my official visit
Oh, no
out
way.
there. Like he was there my first 2 years, and I kind of came in as a backup role for him.
Yeah.
my first 2 years at K-State, so he's my guy.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be really
so
cool.
obviously going in there and then just kind of letting things play out the way they play out.
Yeah.
Give it everything you got. Wait to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
The
I think
Rodgers
we all
week.
are.
We're all waiting.
Who knows?
Rogers watch.
Yeah, 2020.
What is that? Panda Watch. That's what it feels like, man.
Anchorman. One of the best movies ever made.
great one.
Both of them.
We could have done
quick like
Anchorman
this,
quotes for an hour down here.
Oh,
Yeah. Still might.
Don't get me
Will
going.
Ferrell's
on
got to be
those.
the best, doesn't he?
Oh, my goodness.
Don't get me going on the other guys.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too. What's the best Will Ferrell movie?
Pass that down.
I think I'm the other guys guy.
Cool.
It's hard to beat Step Brothers, though. That's just such
gotta
a
be
good,
Step
that's such a
Brothers,
good
right?
I
movie.
think it's just a classic.
Talladega Nights is a great movie.
Solid choice, too.
The Anchormans are good.
Well, what's tough is that it's considered a Christmas movie, but Elf, I feel like
Elf's an
good
all-time.
movie.
Yeah,
It's
but
just an
all-timer.
all-timer.
it's almost not even in the same category.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
not
mean?
like a it's you can't
Its
put
own
it in
thing.
like the dumb comedy kind of.
No, it's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
Evan.
got to be Step
Oh,
Little
look,
cupcakes, too.
well,
Cupcakes.
why would we have cupcakes?
Is that for me?
Hey.
Birthday cupcakes. Thank you.
Do we have a
Appreciate
birthday
it.
coming up?
It's in 2 days.
I know it is.
Yes,
See how we did that
appreciate
for
it.
you guys?
My
Let's
man,
go.
thank you. I
Those that
love
don't know,
cupcakes,
we have
too.
a birthday.
We do a lot of research on the show.
I'm a huge
love that.
cupcake guy, too. So
That's
that's
it. Evan, good job.
Evan, my man. Thank you.
So, guys, this
Thank
is
you,
Evan. Evan, this is Will and Jack.
How are you? Pleasure.
Hands are a little
Pleasure.
sweaty.
Hey, I got you, man.
He's
there we
nervous,
go.
guys.
Pleasure.
So Evan, before we get started, Evan's going to explain this to us, and we're going to eat it.
That's a sucking wind right now.
You were hustling.
A lot of
you-
shape.
You're hustling. You're
Hey,
watching.
you took them stairs great.
He was,
took them stairs
he was
great.
watching Cops again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
All right.
before we get
Okay.
before we get do you want to explain it first?
No.
Because I'd like to mention something.
Please.
I told them that you are a diehard Steeler fan.
This is true.
I also maybe didn't tell them that you were a diehard Notre Dame fan.
Well,
Yeah. He wanted
Sorry?
you to leave that part out.
somebody had to win.
You didn't want me to say that?
I mean,
But now
it's
they're
out there
Steeler fans.
Out there.
They're not. They're
They're on-
Steelers.
they're on our team.
Now it's,
They're Steeler
they're on your
fans.
team.
Well,
Steeler fans.
they're hustling.
You're not Steeler fans. So you're excited they're here.
I'm very excited.
So you hated us for like 3 months. Now we're on your good side.
I mean, I don't think I hated.
Throwing darts at your
begging
picture.
Tomlin not to
Yeah.
pick
Like
us.
a,
You know, it was more or less like I knew Notre Dame was a good team and
Just not
they
good
had a
enough.
chance.
Did they?
Yes,
not
they always do at
good.
the beginning of the game.
That 18 play drive.
And then halftime comes, and then the end, and then I mean, we move forward, and we.
What'd you do?
I think-
there's always next year. Being a Yinzer and a big Pirates fan, we all know that you just say there's always next year.
I will say though,
next
I
year,
think
baby.
Notre Dame's in good hands with Coach Freeman. He's,
yeah.
I think he's one of the best,
Yep.
around.
I was really close to going there out of the portal.
Were you?
When I first jumped in.
Man,
you would have been.
But they,
Evan just
wanted
lit up
Riley,
about
so,
something
you
in the
know.
past that never happened.
All right, Evan, tell us what we got. We were talking about our Yinzer guy and
Yinzer
our Yinzer
platter.
foods, and what do we have? So talk to
okay,
us.
so the 4 closest to you, those are like a smoked kibasi. It's beef kibasi,
Ooh.
and it's
So
got
Bossie's big in Pittsburgh.
yep. And I put
go.
a little bit of slaw in there. It's kind of like the Permani slaw. I don't know if I can say that. I can, but it's not that.
Not for man. It's better.
Well, possibly. Then the one in the middle is we have a thing called Isley's Chip Chopped Ham and the ham barbecue sandwich. So you got one of those, a little bit of pepper jack cheese and some thinly sliced white onion. And then the next is a burger with a pierogi on top and a little bit of white American cheese and a little bit of spicy mustard and some burger sauce on there too. And then the Kennywood fries, potato patch fries, put a little bacon and cheese on those, some beer cheese, Iron City beer cheese. So,
They were saying that they
you go.
decided to try an Iron City.
well, wait.
wait.
If you want to, whatever you want to do. Do you want to? Don't you want to ask a question?
No,
You don't have any questions?
I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, I might, but
Do you want to go get it first, and then have a question when you come down? Think
I have
about
gifts.
it. Okay, go ahead. Don't
Thanks, Evan.
Yeah, thanks, Evan.
All right,
You're the
Evan,
man.
so Pat, take one of each, pass them down to him.
All right.
Just listen.
Hey,
just go
we're
into
all-
it.
Yeah, Will just
We're all
go
close
and toss me a
here.
couple
Yeah,
of those
I
things.
get-
We're all cool here.
I think Evan's segment on this show is just my favorite part of the week. Not even this show. Every time he comes down and does his Evan's Corner,
Evan's
it's
corner,
just,
baby.
oh man, it's just.
Appreciate you, brother.
There you go.
Are you good on the ham?
Pierogi
You can
burger.
take that.
Oh, you guys join them over
I'm
there?
gonna run the wrap. I gotta take a leak real quick.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Good.
That's,
Get the restroom real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. So we because I want to ask you guys too. One last, I think, kind of last thing is this part of our. Do you want me to wait for him? Do you want to wait because then we can just cut it out?
yeah, we can.
do you wanna do?
I can cut it. Or leave
You
it
wanna
on.
Tell me
What are you about to do? I'm gonna be
I was
honest.
going to do the family dinner. Like tell about the
Oh
family
yeah,
dinner.
we'll wait.
Okay.
We'll wait. But
All
we
right,
should also
sound
probably just leave it in Senate because this is hilarious. Yeah. Let's do a food review.
Okay.
What's
I did the ham first.
The ham?
Ham? All right.
They're good? No, they're over there.
Hey. Is that an icy light?
Yes.
Dude, thank you.
He brought gifts for you guys.
Oh, you got some Turners?
Turner's, some Sarah's chocolate.
Some Sarah's?
Wow, dude. Thank
Some
you.
beer.
Appreciate that, man. That's huge.
Get-
Here, you could
you're,
just-
you're getting baptized
Thank you,
in,
brother.
in Pittsburgh
Oh,
culture
you're
right
good.
now.
Jack's in the pisser anyway. Thank you, man.
He didn't know.
Appreciate you.
He didn't know we knew about his birthday. Birthday's in 2 days.
Come on now.
We know everything. Except the stuff we don't.
Look at this.
All right.
That and chipped ham is good.
Thank
I
you.
like the onion.
Damn good.
That onion in there.
It does something
Cuts
to it.
through the sweetness and
The cheese is really good
adds
too.
another dimension.
That Berg?
There's a pierogi on that.
Yeah.
They're proggy on that.
You didn't see that?
Ham, what do you think? He did good so far?
Really good. I like it. It's nice and sweet. I like that like sweet barbecue sauce on it.
Oh, for the
Nice. Remiss if I didn't.
You have a question for the guys?
I mean, I just like just the normal. Like, how excited are you? You know, like
Dude,
what an exciting experience for someone to go through, and
Yeah.
you know, it's probably happening pretty fast for you too. And
It is. It throughout that whole process, it's just like you don't know where you're gonna be. You know, it's like you could be in any one of 32 cities. So I was like, I just wanted to know. You know, it didn't, and it's not about when, it's where. You know, in the draft, and I think I could not have landed in a better spot. Like honestly, like
right, no,
close to home, close to Columbus. You know, like a lot of friends that are out here. A lot of connections to Pittsburgh. So like it's an unbelievable city too. I grew up coming here playing basketball. Played in the Pitt Jam Fest a couple times for Hoop Group, and I just always loved the city. I thought it was really cool. So yeah, man, I'm fired up, dude.
Are you excited for the big guy on the outside rushing? He's a defensive guy, too.
yeah,
Come on now.
love me some defense. Offense is awesome too. Not, you know what I mean.
And also
Running
special
back.
teams. Special teams. I care about you too.
I just want to see a guy just get knocked in the next week. There's nothing better, really.
Nothing like
all
it,
do.
man.
No.
Nothing like it.
And
Why
if
you play football, man?
You get to hear the
people hard.
pop too. That's even better. So
The ham is
good,
very
Jack,
good.
what'd you at first? The kibasi. Mm-hmm. See, everyone tried something different.
Phenomenal.
perfect.
Good job. So nothing else. If you're good, Evan,
I think I'm good.
I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, bud.
Gentlemen.
Thank you,
We'll go
Evan.
to the
Oh, now
handshake
you got
this time.
the
Switch
yeah.
it up.
There we go.
Switch
I
it
love
up
you.
on him.
Appreciate it, man.
Meet you, man. Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. You got a Pittsburgh cat.
He brought you all that stuff. He brought that for you guys.
What up, Russ?
Turner's tea, your icy light.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evan. Appreciate you, man.
Enjoy, guys.
Thanks, Evan. Well, here, I'm going to pass. Well,
Oh yeah, go for it.
Spence. Oh, well, never mind. So, guys, as I was saying, as we were kind of going through this thing, so this is awful timing. Just awful timing. Just awful timing.
As I was saying, as I was shoveling these fries on
Showing
my
these
plate.
amazing cheese fries into my plate.
Sorry if I don't know what I'm talking about.
Sorry, Mr. Brendan Conley. All right, so this part of our show we call this the family dinner because that's something that was important to. It is important to both of us, and it is important that we pass on to people is having a dinner with your family. So that's what we're doing. We're having dinner with our family, which is why we make a cookbook. We spend this time. So one of the things that we during this time we will do another beer, but we like to get into something that might be a family thing or something that means a lot to us or whatever. And Spence, I know you had brought it up to me, and I think it's a great thing to talk about. If you want to ask him that question, because I thought it was good.
Yeah, I probably just need
Because I don't know the
more educated.
clarity.
I felt like I heard. So Ben and I both Christians. We talk about a lot our faith on this show a lot. I heard this year at Ohio State there was like student led revivals happening. Was it led by the football team or members of the football? Can you educate me on what that was? Because I remember just seeing headlines of it.
So it was, I want to say in July, maybe before fall camp. They did an event on campus, and it was run by football players. It was run by Emeka, Travion, JT, G. Scott, and then two former players, Master Teague and Cam Babb. And all of them are unbelievable in their faith and really brought me along with them. Like I grew up Catholic, you know,
You're fitting great
went
here.
to mass,
Pittsburgh.
you know, all the time. And, but you know, you just kind of go through the motions sometimes, and you don't really know why you're going to mass. You don't really know why you're, you know, praying or whatever. And these guys, you know, when I first got there, I think Cam started it originally, but G would run a Bible study. And I've been a part of Bible studies before, but they'd all usually been run by, you know, hey, a priest or a pastor or some guy that, you know, worked for the church. But this was run by us, you know. It was G would run the Bible study. G and Emeka and Trey usually would run it. And they were always very passionate about getting guys there and making sure that we went at a time that was good for everybody. And, you know, it just it was really cool to be a part of something like that. Like I had never really felt the passion that they had, you know, for their faith. Yeah. And then they wanted to spread it to the campus. So they had that event on campus. It was right outside of a couple dorm rooms, and, you know, they advertised it real well. Everyone kind of put it up on their stories, and I just went, you know, just as a spectator, and it was like super, super cool to even just be there, because they all got up, all 5 or 6 of them shared their testimonies and, you know, their walk in faith. You know, we prayed a little bit, worshiped a little bit, and then at the end, you know, the sun was down at this point. They brought out tubs of water and baptized about 60 to 70 people. Like, it was unbelievable. And I was there, and these people are crying, like. It was really, really cool to watch. And like, it was special. It was just like, this is what it's really about. I remember I was there with Chad Ray, who was one of our like walk-on quarterbacks. And we kind of looked at each other as we were walking out, like, damn, man, like that was like special, you know? And I knew we had a special group of guys, and, you know, everyone was, and I think that the faith part of it was, you know, a pivotal piece to our team. And it, you know, it wasn't forced upon anyone, but a lot of people kind of gravitated towards it because it was just such a positive force, and, you know, it brought us together in a lot of ways. And it was really cool. You know, I can't take any credit for it. It was all those guys, and, you know, but they made me better in my faith this year. I learned from them. I tried to be better, you know, and they just had this passion for their faith that I'd never seen before. And it motivated me to want to be more passionate, you know?
100%.
It was really cool.
I always thought, man, that a football team is the greatest, I guess, like landscape to exercise what the Bible talks about as far as community, because it's talking. I mean, a successful football team will embody unity, and oneness and sameness are not the same thing. And every team you guys have ever been on, examples of that in spades. You know what I mean? You get 53 guys from all different walks of life, 53 different stories, testimonies, struggles, passions, but they're coming together for one common cause. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I've never rooted for the Buckeyes a day in my life. That's because I don't watch college football, but I was rooting for you then, man. And it was just really cool to see that led by, like you said, the students, man. Like the young bucks saying, hey, I've encountered God and it's real. Let me just share you some game real quick, and then
let the Holy Spirit take over.
Yeah, let it tag out the old big guns.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
So that's huge, man. And then baptizing people. Right. So one thing I will say is encouragement. I know you're turning 23, 24. So I know I look 18, but I'm 34 years old. So, but what I would encouragement to you young guys, man, because sitting here and getting to sit with you for an hour and hear you guys talk and hear a little bit about your stories and a little bit of the research I did, man, I praise God for your families. Because I praise God for the men and women that went before you, that poured into you and because you're going to be the person that so many other people are looking at. You know what I mean? And your families, your community, your coaches, your teammates have poured in and built up to really good young men. And what I would encourage you to, as you guys continue this career, and I, you know, pray for successful careers. I always pray this for my friends in the league. I'm like, I hope you play well, you stay safe, you get paid, and then you win championships. Those, you know, those are the things I want you in that order.
Right.
But you're gonna model every aspect of your life after somebody that went before you. Right, you're gonna model. You know, talking about TJ, you're gonna be in the quarterback room. You got old heads over here. You know, you still look young, but old heads over here. Right, I would encourage you to do the same thing in your faith. The Steelers have a phenomenal chaplain.
PK.
PK
Have you guys
is
met
amazing.
PK Chevalier yet?
I haven't.
No.
No.
Get to know
Tap
him.
in,
Get
tap
to
in.
know. He's a good. I wish he would have been with me my whole career. He's a dude that was. I'm echoing what you said. You get to know him, and he's a cool dude. Like you'll just like him. Like he'll be your homie. Like he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's for real about his faith, and he's for real about the life application. So you guys navigating it, like it's a part of your game.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? 100%. Sounds like you guys have great foundations in that. And so if I can just add an encouragement as you guys go towards that and you guys are honing everything in, you're in the install for everything you guys are about to walk into is probably going to be crazy. Don't skip on that one.
Yeah, appreciate that. Don't mess that one
Can't.
up. And his wife Erica is spectacular too.
Oh, my goodness.
She's like a mentor to Ashley. So for the girlfriends and stuff, but yeah, I agree. That's awesome. Love what you said, Spence. Don't miss that part because it can get up on you quick and you can get overwhelmed quickly doing this.
Yes.
So
Appreciate that.
yeah, no, we appreciate you guys being here. We're gonna. Anything else, Spence? No.
Unless there's more than burgers.
Beer.
Yeah, we're gonna pass you one last one to try.
For beer.
Last one.
Pass
Last
it
for
down.
beer.
Last for beer.
And we're gonna tap out.
you,
We're
sir.
gonna have you light those candles, and we're just
picked-
gonna say happy birthday.
Yeah, I picked this one because it reminded me of you, Jack. It's called Tank Dog. Look at that.
I love it.
Tank dog.
Look at that.
Love it.
Now,
Look at
Look at
that.
that
boy.
taste of
dog
that.
coming off the edge.
Yeah.
Well, thank God.
All right. It's a hazy imperial, 9.6.
Oh, strong.
Sorry. Unleash your inner dog. Oh, that's right. And let's go. Tank Dog is more than a beer. It's a mindset. You're right.
Absolutely.
There we go.
All right. So expect unleashed juicy notes, smooth drinkability, and when life barks, bite back.
There's no way 9.6 is any smoothness.
Come on. Oh, Tank Dog.
For a 9.6.
For an
it's pretty
IPA.
smooth.
It's surprising.
It's very
smooth.
Okay, new
That's actually
round.
I
really
thought that was
smooth.
going to be real hoppy. It's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
No.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Because I'm
you
not
start
an
getting,
IPA
that's
guy.
nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. That is good.
like
though.
that a lot.
That's actually really good.
Is it?
Yeah, it is good.
I like that. I'm not an IPA usually.
No?
I'm not either.
I like it.
That was
Well,
good.
well, you
I
guys
like that
can-
one.
You have some icy lights now from Evan. You got some Turner's Tea. Turner's Tea's a big around here.
Yeah.
Your Sarah's chocolate from him now.
Yep. That's awesome.
Here, go ahead and light those candles for him over there. Don't hurt
Will,
yourself.
come on.
Happy.
Do you sing too?
I'll get with this last little fry. These fries are unreal.
Fries are really good.
Look at that. Let me see. Oh, they got the.
There we go.
There you go. Look at that.
Happy birthday,
that.
young man.
Happy birthday,
Welcome
Jack
to
Sawyer.
Pittsburgh. Thanks for coming on the show.
Of
Happy
course.
birthday.
Appreciate you guys having us on. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
You're on Tuesday?
Tuesday. That's right.
That's
May
when this will
6th.
drop.
This will air on
On your
Tuesday.
Oh,
birthday.
sweet.
There we go.
Hey.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate
Tuesday.
it, man.
Look at us.
This has been awesome.
Look at us.
Like we know what we're doing.
We have some happy accidents like that. Cowers on his birthday.
Yeah.
What was it? Like Pouncy was the 53rd episode or something like crazy
Yeah.
like
I've
that.
always wanted to meet the Pouncies.
Oh,
I heard
boy.
they're awesome.
They're
brother.
the best.
I heard they're funny,
Well,
good guys to be around. They're
Mike's
tough as
okay,
nails. I
but
love them
Pounce
because
is
they're
the
just
best.
tough as nails.
Dog.
But then everyone else says they love them when you meet them.
They're the
I've
best.
always wanted to meet the Pouncies.
They're the best.
Pounce. You heard that. Pounce.
Pounce, what we
Come
doing?
on.
What we
Huge
doing,
fan. Been
Pounce?
big fans of them since I was a little kid.
Yes.
So.
You can't not love those guys.
Oh my! They'll be your new favorite football players,
Right.
regardless of who you'll meet them. You're like, it's them.
Yep.
It's them.
Yep, that's what
Yeah.
Coach Mick was obviously there with
Yeah.
them at Florida, and
Pounce is my guy.
loves them.
Mike's
so.
okay, but Pounce is my guy. So, every time. All right. Well, thank you, family, for joining us on football, and thank you, Will. Thank you, Captain Jack. I assume from Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
or is it not the Billy Joel
That's what
song?
these guys all bust my
say
chops
Pirates
about
of
it.
the Caribbean.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Captain
But thank you to you guys. We wish you nothing but the best. We will obviously be rooting for you. The boys were super excited. They got to meet you before bed, so thank you for saying hello to them. Of
course, yeah.
We will be in contact by watching you guys, and you're always welcome down here whenever you guys want.
Awesome.
Family, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you when we see you, or we'll see you another time.